We spoke of this adverse childhood trauma.
Yeah.
How much does that play a part in adult life?
I mean, research says that 60% of the population have had at least one childhood experience, adverse childhood experience. So they call it ACE. Okay. So there was a study done of the effect of childhood trauma on our health as adults, whether that be mental health or physical health.
Yeah.
So we're someone who's had, say, one traumatic experience, you are more likely to get heart disease. So the number one cause of death, and that goes along with your cancer and serious illnesses. Now, the more that the ACEs build up, so you've had 2, 3, 4 with cancer, then you're literally doubling, quadrupling really, your chances of becoming really sick.
Wow, your body physically bringing that trauma out in you.
Yeah.
So how, as a hypnotherapist, can you help try and heal some of those old wounds? Because they don't go away. We learn to manage them.
There's two things here really, because there's the people that feel a certain way, or they're having panic attacks, but they don't know why. Yeah, and then you've got the person who will come to me and tell me everything that happened to them throughout their lifetime.
Right.
So I had one lady that I saw many years ago, and I'll always remember her because she said to me, I don't know what it is, Teresa, but every time I see the colour red, I start to feel with dread.
And she didn't know why.
She didn't know why.
But she knew
I start
the
to
feeling.
have that, chemical reaction to that colour red. So it's starting to put her on high alert. Her alarm goes off, which is the amygdala, and it puts her into fight and flight. But I have no idea why.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how on earth do you support someone that they don't even know? How can you find that out for them? Well, with them,
in these circumstances, I would regress her back to childhood.
Right.
And I would see if there's anything there that correlates with what she's saying about the colour red. Now, I think I took her back to when she was the age of 4, and we're very suggestible. So between the ages of when we're born to around about 7, 8 years old, we're in our brain frequency, which is the most suggestible frequency. So it's called some call it the theta or theta. Yeah. I'm not sure which one actually, but you're in that brain frequency when you go into hypnosis.
Yes.
So I then take them into hypnosis, and as I said, I regress them and find out if there's anything there that the subconscious is willing to let out basically.
Absolutely.
So unfortunately for this lady, she had a family member that had sexually abused her, and she was wearing a red dress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And could you maybe shine a bit of light on this? Because that memory, it's almost like her brain didn't want to remember that incident, but held on to the colour red. Yeah. Can our brains almost switch off from, it sounds like it can, switch off from those memories to protect us? Is that why it does that?
It's absolutely, you're correct there, because the brain is always wanting to keep you safe.
Yeah.
The amygdala wants to keep you safe, which is why it switches on the alarm.
Right.
Yeah. But when you've So when you've having repeated experiences of childhood abuse for a family member who they, are looking to for, comfort and safety and to feel secure. So basically, if you think about what she went through as a child and how her amygdala was activated, so what her brain will do is it will park that experience
and suppress it.
There's two things here actually, because sometimes it can get filed unprocessed, which sits in a different part of the brain.
Gosh.
Okay, the front cortex, the lobe. So what happens then, it hasn't actually been dealt with, or which is where PTSD comes from.
Right.
Post-traumatic stress. So I was on the fence here of where it was. So I did, as I regressed her and she revealed this traumatic experience, I worked with her to get her to change how she felt about it.
A lot of shame.
There was a lot of shame. Yeah. So we went into that this wasn't your fault.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was nothing that you did that caused your family member to actually sexually abuse you.
Wow. So you deal with some pretty really, really heavy traumas for people and facilitate them to sort of forgive themselves, really.
Yeah, she needed to go through a lot of adults that have been sexually abused actually blame themselves. They feel disgusting. They must have done something that caused this. And the thing is, unfortunately, that can go on to you being the perpetrator later on in life. So
whoa.
There is Wow,
I stopped speechless. I'd never connected that. Wow. So it's something you should deal with for your own sake, really, and your own quality of life.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there any other examples of childhood trauma that can really have an impact? And
there's so many. You know, if you're brought up with a parent that is suffering with mental health, you know, they're going through their own, traumas and they don't have the capacity, to be able to give to their child. Yeah. So there's so many versions of childhood trauma, because you've got, parents that use substances to, whether they're taking drugs or, their mother is a prostitute, or, they have been physically or mentally abused. I had one lady who had witnessed war. I mean, horrific. And I'm not even going to go through what she went through, because honestly, that was a really difficult, moving, session for me. I would say, as a therapist, you've got to learn to be able to, not get emotionally attached. That one was very, very difficult. But to obviously help her as a therapist, you've got to stay detached emotionally.
Absolutely.
So that traumatic event was constantly repeated. And she saw people mutilated, all sorts of things, babies killed.
Goodness.
So that really affected her. So she was constantly on high alert her whole life. And, it just needed resetting, but she was suffering from post-traumatic stress.
I'm not surprised.
So, for many, many years, and it was undiagnosed.
Yeah.
It was undiagnosed because she made no connection, really, that was what was causing her panic attacks.
Wow.
Now, in the present. So what we did, we went to her old wounds, but what I wanted to do, because I also am an EMDR practitioner, which is eye movement, desensitization, reprocessing.
Wow.
So you know, I said earlier that sometimes experiences get parked. That's where EMDR works with.
Okay, so different parts of the brain is storing different information.
Yeah.
And what would you call a trauma? Is that subjective to the person? Do we have any right to say that's a trauma, that's not?
Do you know, that's such an interesting question.
I don't know if there's an answer.
And it's a very, very relevant question.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got the statistics that say what is deemed as a trauma.
Yeah.
Okay. But I did regress one girl who, her trauma, I was expecting something quite horrific. You should never do that as a therapist, but I was. It was the early days. And her friend wrote to her and said she didn't want to be a friend anymore.
I can see how that can be traumatic for someone.
Yeah, so for her brain, you know, saw that as a rejection.
Yeah.
So therefore, she's gone throughout of her life fearing rejection, feeling unloved.
Was there any
unworthy.
connection with maybe childhood experience that made that rejection so difficult for her?
Oh, I mean, she went through a series of bullying. So actually the girl that had actually stopped being her friend went on to be a bully, and then got an alliance. So all of her friends became this girl's, you know, they became the enemy. So there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And that's another traumatic event because